Hey Bookworms, it's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you the start of my One Readathon to Rule Them All reading vlog. If this is the first time you're hearing about this readathon, then it's probably too late to join it because this vlog won't be going up until after the readathon is over. But the One Readathon to Rule Them All is a fantasy-themed readathon that was created by Ashley from Don't Have a Degree in Reading. This year it is Harry Potter themed, and I am one of the co-hosts. I am one of the Ravenclaw co-hosts. I decided to start this vlog a couple days into the readathon. It is currently Sunday, and the readathon started on Friday, because I usually start readathon vlogs with a TBR, and I already posted my TBR when I did my announcement for this readathon at the beginning of October. So if you missed my TBR, I will link that for you so you can go check it out. Since I didn't have a TBR to go over, I decided to wait a couple days into the readathon, and now I'm ready for my very first update. My plan is to read no more than 2 books at once during this readathon. I have a habit of juggling 2 to 3, sometimes more books at a time. But I'm afraid if I do that with these fantasy books, I might not finish any of them before the week is over. So the 2 books that I'm currently focused on is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, which is the first book in a duology. This is a reread for me, but this is the Ravenclaw house book, and it gives us Ravenclaws the most points out of any of the prompts that we could read for Ravenclaw. I absolutely love this book. When I first read it, it was a 5-star book. I have no doubt it's going to be another 5-star for me. This time I decided I wanted to listen to it on audiobook, because while I listened to the sequel on audio, I don't think I listened to the first book on audio. And it is narrated by one of my favorite narrators, Steve West. If you've never heard Steve West narrate a book, you should give him a try because he is so good in everything that he does, and anytime I see his name attached to an audiobook, I instantly want to listen to it. I haven't put as much time aside for reading the past few days as I would have liked, but I just finished part 1 of the book. I'm on page 84 or 85, which puts me at about 15% into Strange the Dreamer, and I am really enjoying being back in this world. The second book that I'm currently reading is Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. This is the 3rd and final book in the Farseer trilogy. I am actually doing this as a buddy read with another one of the co-hosts, Rhea from the Bookfinch. We decided to spread this book out through most of the readathon. We're reading 5 or 6 chapters every day. So this one I feel like is going to be the one where I know I have a certain amount to read every day and I get that much read, and then whatever reading time I have left I will devote to Strange the Dreamer or whatever my other book is. I have currently finished 6 chapters so far of Assassin's Quest, and it really started out, I won't say with a bang, but a lot of emotions from me. The first 2 or 3 chapters literally had me crying multiple times, and I was really surprised how emotionally impacted I was by the beginning of this book. It was something I wasn't really expecting. I expect to get emotional at the ends of books, but not so much at the beginning. But I cried so many times in the first 3 chapters. I also really appreciate that Robin Hobb does a decent job of recapping the end of the previous book at the beginning of her books. It hasn't been that long since I read the second book, but already some of the details were getting fuzzy, and now I feel very refreshed on those details because Robin Hobb very naturally put in little explanations and reminders of things that happened. I am really excited about the direction that this book is going to take, and I'm really excited to be buddy reading this with someone. Both of the other 2 books that I plan to read for the readathon, The Broken Eye by Brent Weeks and Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie, I plan to also get those in audiobook form too. So I'm hoping to get in a lot of audiobook time this week. I'm really looking forward to the week because I actually took off of work. I had a couple of days off for Thanksgiving, but I took a few more days off so I could just have the whole week off, and I can read and play video games and clean my house because we are hosting a Thanksgiving on Thursday. My biggest distraction this week is definitely going to be video games because just a couple weekends ago we decided to buy a Nintendo Switch, and I have been playing Zelda Breath of the Wild non-stop for a week and a half. So it's going to be hard for me to try to balance reading a lot and playing some Zelda because I definitely don't want to give that up. Hopefully I can use Zelda as a reward so that I'm motivated to read a lot during the week. I plan to throw in some day in the life sorts of clips in the middle of this vlog. I know I plan to go to the library because I need to pick up one of the books for this readathon. We are hosting a Thanksgiving, like I said, and going to another family Thanksgiving. But other than that, I really just plan on spending a lot of time reading and playing video games. And some video editing. Alright guys, if you guys are participating in this readathon, then I wish you luck, even though you won't be seeing this until the readathon is over. I have to go get another video filmed before I can get back to reading. So I will check in with you guys in a few days. Bye. Hey guys, it's me. So it is time to close out this reading vlog. I have to admit, this week did not go as I had planned, although it probably went the way I should have expected. I definitely didn't take as many video clips during the week as I had wanted to, but it just, when it came down to it, I just wasn't really in the mood to be filming a lot of things. To be honest, I wasn't in the greatest mental health space over the last week, and while I did do a lot of reading and some booktube work, I played a lot of video games, a lot of Zelda, which is what I meant by I probably should have expected my week to go that way. I still feel like I did a decent amount of reading, but I only read the 2 books. I finished Strange the Dreamer on Friday, and I finished Assassin's Quest on Saturday. And honestly, I had thought I had all day Sunday to read, but I realized on Saturday that that was the last day of the readathon, and I knew then that I was not going to fit in any more reading. I did end up starting The Blinding Knife, but I started that on Saturday, fully knowing that I wasn't going to be able to finish it for the readathon. But honestly, there was no way I was going to finish that book because it's huge, which I knew, but I didn't really know until I got it out from the library and like felt it in my hand. It's like a brick. So I'm a little disappointed in myself that I didn't read as much as I had planned to. Anyways, I still had a really fun time participating in the readathon, and reading 2 books in 1 week is more than my usual. But let me tell you what I thought about these books. So first of all, Strange the Dreamer. It was a reread for me. I had read it initially probably about a year ago. The first time I read it, I loved it so much, I gave it 5 stars, and so I was really looking forward to this reread. I'm really not a rereader. I don't reread very often, and when I do, it's usually to like refresh my memory before I move forward in a series, but I was excited to have a reason to reread Strange the Dreamer. And I did still enjoy it, but I ended up giving it 4 stars. Every time I read the book, I feel like it deserves a rating to represent my reading experience with it in that moment. And so in last week's moment, I only enjoyed Strange the Dreamer to a 4-star level. Still really enjoyed it, but I think that knowing what was going to happen, it did make things like interesting, kind of like picking up on things that I probably didn't notice the first time. But I also was just very impatient to like get it over with so I could move on to reading other books. I think I've learned that for readathons, doing a reread isn't the best idea because the whole time I was reading Strange the Dreamer, I just wanted to be reading other things, even though I was enjoying myself, if that makes sense. I still love this story. I still definitely recommend it. It's still a 5-star book in my heart. It just wasn't a 5-star read in this moment. So as far as what prompts Strange the Dreamer fulfilled, there was a rule change at the beginning of the readathon. Originally, you could only use each prompt 1 time during the readathon, but then they decided to change it to where you can count the prompt as many times as you want. So basically, for each book, it can count for any of the prompts even if you've already used it before on a different book. So Strange the Dreamer netted me 7 points for Ravenclaw. I counted it for the House Buddy read, which was the most points at 4 points, but I also counted it for creativity. It's the first book in a fantasy series, and I counted it for wit, a book with comic relief, because there were definitely moments that I thought were funny and I laughed. So those were the 3 Ravenclaw prompts that Strange the Dreamer counted for. And then it only counted for 1 Gryffindor prompt, and that was Chivalry, which is written by a female author. And then 2 Hufflepuff prompts, Justice, which is a revenge subplot, which I didn't remember that this book had, but it definitely has a little bit of a revenge subplot. And Patience, which is a book over 500 pages or 16 hours on audio. And I think this was like an 18-hour audiobook. And then the 1 Slytherin prompt it fulfilled is Leadership, which is it subverts the chosen one trope, which, in my opinion, this book does. I completely listened to Strange the Dreamer on audiobook, which was my plan because it's narrated by Steve West, and I don't think that I had listened to it before. I think I read it physically the first time, and that was a lot of fun. Steve West is amazing, and I'm still a big fan of his. Okay, and then for Assassin's Quest, this is the 3rd book in the Farseer trilogy, so the last book in that trilogy by Robin Hobb. And even though it took me all week to read, I absolutely loved that book, and I gave it 5 stars. Technically, this is also a reread for me, but this is like, I read it 10 years ago and don't remember anything sort of reread, so I didn't have the same rereading experience as I did to Strange the Dreamer, where I was just like impatient to get it over with. This book was just so good, and I don't even know how to put it into words. It started off very emotional for me, which I wasn't expecting, and I still get sad thinking about the things that happened at the beginning. And then like the middle was also really good. This is the first Farseer book where there was like an actual end goal, like something that Fitz was trying to accomplish. Obviously it's called Assassin's Quest, so like there was actually a quest, which was different from the other 2 books. The other 2 books are very much just like following Fitz around on his daily life and the things that happened to him. So I think because this one had an actual quest, it had a lot more movement and the pacing was a lot better. It didn't feel as like meandering and relaxed. So that was something that made it like more fun, I think, than the other 2 books. But emotionally, I'm just also very more attached to these characters, and the things that they went through were just like gut-wrenching, and the ending was so bittersweet, which is how I like my endings. I know I just did a video about endings that I hate. I like endings that are bittersweet. Like, I want them to be overall happy, but if they have like some sad components, I get it. But I like to know what happened to them. Like, I like there to be a resolution, but I also like it to be like a little bit of good and bad and not all bad or all good, I guess. And that's what this ending had for the trilogy, and it was so good. It's been a couple days since I finished it, and I still can't stop thinking about these characters and the way the book made me feel at the end. I just like want to go back and reread the last like 10% because I just miss them and I miss the world, and I just loved it so much. I also listened to that on audiobook, and the narrator for this trilogy is fantastic. Definitely recommend the audiobooks if you guys like audiobooks. Okay, as far as the reading prompts, this one only fulfilled 1 Ravenclaw prompt, which was wit or comic relief. So it only netted me 2 points for Ravenclaw, but it did a lot of damage to the other teams. So for Gryffindor prompts, it fulfilled Nerve, which is having an ugly or outdated cover, which this one has a few, and also Chivalry, again, written by a woman. And then for Hufflepuff, this was a very Hufflepuff book with 3 prompts. It fulfilled Loyalty, Great Friendships. There's definitely great friendships in this book. It's one of my favorite parts of the book, or the series, I guess. It also fulfills Work, which is the last book in a series, and also Justice, which is a revenge subplot, which this book definitely had. And then it also fulfilled Patience, over 500 pages or 16 hours of audio. I don't remember exactly how many audiobook hours this one was, but definitely over 16. And then the 1 Slytherin prompt, I don't know, I found the Slytherin prompts to be harder to fill. I don't know if anybody else who was participating felt that way. But the only Slytherin prompt is ambition, which is a main character attempting to overthrow the status quo. So, put all of my prompts together, all of my points together. I earned 9 points for Ravenclaw. I took away 4.5 points from Gryffindor, took away 8.5 points from Hufflepuff, so I had a really good Hufflepuff attack, and I took away 2.5 points from Slytherin. At this point, the readathon is over, and Ashley has announced the winning team, which was Gryffindor. But the points were definitely really close. Ravenclaw came in second, so I am really proud of all of the Ravenclaws. Some of you guys were reading so much, made me feel like a slacker with my 2 books. Anyways, I had a lot of fun with the readathon. If you participated, I hope you did too. Let me know in the comment section if you did participate and how the readathon went for you. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. That is all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bookworms, keep reading. Bye.